You wake up on the cold ground before the sun does. Your back is stiff. Your stomach is already aching. There is no alarm clock, no phone light, no ceiling above you. Only the gray edge of morning pressing through the trees. You have no idea what today will bring, but you already know one thing for certain. If you don't find food before the sun goes down, your body will start eating itself to survive. Anthropologists who studied modern hunter-gatherer groups like the Hadza of Tanzania found something that surprised almost everyone. On average, these communities spend around 5 to 6 hours a day on the tasks needed to survive. That's less time than most office workers spend at a desk. In this video, we explore what a single 24-hour day actually looked like for an ancient human, hour by hour, and why almost everything you assume about that life is wrong. Waking before the body wants to. You don't wake up to a number on a clock. You wake up to temperature and light. Your body has been running on a rhythm shaped by millions of years of sunrise and sunset. And that rhythm decides when you open your eyes, not a schedule. The air is coldest right before dawn, and that cold is often what pulls you out of sleep. There's no snooze button. Cold is your alarm, and hunger is your motivation. Within minutes of waking, your first thought isn't about a to-do list. It's about your mouth, dry from a night of sleeping outdoors, and the fact that nobody is going to hand you a glass of water. That part of the day is entirely on you, and it starts before you've even stood up. The first task is never food. It's water. Before anything else, you need water, and finding it is a skill passed down for generations. You know the shape of the land well enough to remember where moisture collects, where a stream thens, where morning dew pools thick enough to drink. Dehydration kills faster than hunger does, so this task always comes first. Groups without reliable water sources nearby had to build their entire daily route around it, sometimes walking several kilometers before the sun was even fully up. Once water is secured, your body finally allows you to think about the next problem. And that problem is bigger than it sounds. Breakfast doesn't exist. Foraging does. There's no pantry, no fridge, no leftovers. Food is not stored the way you're used to. It's found. And finding it is a full-time skill. Roughly 2/3 of the calories in many hunter-gatherer diets came not from meat, but from gathering. Tubers, nuts, berries, insects, whatever the season provides. Women in many ancient societies were often the primary gatherers, and their knowledge of which plants were safe, which were poisonous, and which ripened in which month was essentially an oral encyclopedia passed down without ever being written. A single mistake here could be fatal, so this knowledge had to be exact. This is the invisible grocery store of the ancient world, and it never closes, because if it does, so do you. The hunt is rare, loud, and nothing like the movies. Contrary to popular imagination, hunting large animals wasn't a daily event. It was occasional, high risk, and often unsuccessful. Many hunts ended with nothing to show for hours of tracking. When a hunt did succeed, the meat wasn't hoarded by one person. It was shared across the group, because in a world without refrigeration, sharing meat today meant someone would share with you tomorrow. This wasn't generosity in the way you think of it now. It was survival insurance, built into the social contract of the entire group. The animal you brought down fed people who weren't even there for the hunt, and that debt would be repaid in ways that kept everyone alive through leaner weeks. Midday is not for working. It's for hiding from the sun. By midday, the heat becomes its own threat, and this is where the myth of constant grinding labor falls apart. Many hunter-gatherer groups rested during the hottest hours, retreating to shade, repairing tools, or simply sitting together and talking. This wasn't laziness, it was thermal regulation, a survival strategy as real as finding food or water. Overexertion in extreme heat could be just as deadly as starvation, so bodies that pushed too hard in the wrong hours didn't last. The instinct to nap when it's hot and quiet when the sun is highest isn't a modern indulgence. It's a leftover survival setting still running in you today. Every sound could be a predator. Every shadow gets a second look. Vigilance never fully switches off. Even during rest, part of your attention stays locked on the tree line, the grass, the sound of something moving that shouldn't be moving. Humans without claws, without thick hides, without the speed of the animals hunting them, survived because of group awareness, not individual strength. Someone was almost always watching, listening, scanning. This constant low-grade alertness shaped the nervous system you still have today, the same one that makes you flinch at a sudden noise in a parking lot or feel uneasy walking alone at night. That reaction isn't random, it's inherited. As the sky changes color, the day shifts entirely. And this is where something happens that most people never expect from ancient life. The fire isn't just warmth. It's the original social network. Once the light fades, the group gathers around fire, and this is where the emotional core of the day happens. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer groups found that nighttime conversation around fire was almost never about the day's chores or the hunt. It shifted towards stories, relationships, myths, and jokes. Firelight extended the day past sunset for the first time in human evolutionary history, giving early humans hours of social bonding that daylight never allowed for, because during daylight, everyone was working. This nightly ritual is considered by some researchers to be one of the earliest engines of culture itself, the place where storytelling, teaching, and group identity were built, one fireside night at a time. Sleep doesn't look like yours, and that changes everything. Here is the twist almost nobody expects. When sleep researchers studied hunter-gatherer groups with no electricity, no screens, and no clocks, they found something startling. These groups didn't sleep more than modern people. On average, they slept around 6 to 7 hours a night, similar to many industrialized populations. And they didn't fall asleep the moment it got dark either. They stayed up for hours after sunset, active around the fire. The assumption that ancient humans were simply exhausted animals collapsing at dusk turns out to be false. Their sleep was shaped by temperature drop overnight and natural light at dawn, not by darkness alone. In other words, your sleepless 3 a.m. scrolling sessions and their post-sunset fireside talks come from the exact same internal clock, just pointed at different things. So what does any of this actually mean for you? Sitting somewhere warm, well-fed, with water at the turn of a tap. It means the exhausting parts of modern life, the constant vigilance, the midday energy crash, the restlessness after dark, the anxiety in unfamiliar spaces. None of that is a malfunction. It's an inheritance. Your body is still running software built for a world where food had to be found, water had to be tracked down, and danger had to be watched for, all before a single modern convenience existed. The stress you feel scanning your phone at night is the same nervous system that once scanned a tree line for movement. The exhaustion you feel at 3 p.m. is the same one that once demanded shade from an ancient sun. You woke up this morning without wondering if today would be the day you didn't find water. That difference, the sheer safety of your daily life, is not the norm of human history. It's the exception. For almost the entire span of human existence, waking up itself was the first task completed, and everything after that had to be earned, hour by hour, until the fire was lit again.